Welcome to SpinTV's coverage of the 2019 United States Disc Golf Championship. I'm Jamie Thomas, and it is my great pleasure to present this coverage alongside the five-time United States champion himself, Ken Climo. But first, the championship has a cherished history spanning over 2 decades of competitive play, highlighted here in our Heritage Series.
Before McBeast. Before Sexton. Before the championship built the stage. Before epic battle could be fought. Before mentors passed the baton. Before big arms and hearts were shown off. The championship called their names. When the pressure is highest. When courage is tested. When you can't catch a break. The championship is testing their mettle. Where rakes and spoons are given as trophies. Where family meals are still tradition. The championship brings them together. Where emotions run high. When legends never say die. Words often falter and tears form in the eye. All because the championship makes dreams come true.
And welcome to the 2019 United States Disc Golf Championship. You found feature and lead card coverage here on SpinTV. I'm Jamie Thomas. I am happy to be back where it all began for me, and it is my great honor to be joined by Ken Climo, the champ himself. How you doing this evening, champ?
Jamie, I'm doing great. I'm ready to see a little disc golf here.
You have had many tussles with this course, and there's a whole lot of competitors that have looked up to you for so many years and seen the things that you've done out here at Winthrop Gold. Paige Pierce, a 5-time world champion, will be on this feature card today. We also have Simon Lizotte, the German phenom and the 2-time European champion. We have as well Chris Dickerson out of Georgia and the Disc Golf Pro Tour champion from just 1 season ago. And finally, AJ Risley, 2-time Ice Bowl in Paradise champ. And right here, we are on a hole, used to be hole 3. It's now hole 1, a much tougher way to start this course and to start this round. What have you got for us here?
Well, you know, the old hole 1 didn't have much OB, so there wasn't a possibility of a big number here. You could definitely be OB on this. Or not really OB, I guess it's called a hazard, and you putt from where the disc lies and you take a stroke penalty. So you want to get off to a good start here and not throw it out across the line where you have to make your putt to save your par. And it's a fairly easy shot for most players, but you know the nerves get you on this hole a little bit. It's always the opening hole. You have little butterflies in your stomach, and you want to get off to a good start. So let's see how these players fare. Quite a bit of a gallery surrounding this early round group here.
Sure, Wednesday morning, and everybody is excited for this battle. Simon Lizotte, one of the crowd favorites. He is a joy to watch. You never know what he's going to say, and you never know what he's going to do with the disc in his hand.
It's great to see him smiling like that right before he tees off. You always play a little bit better when you have a good frame of mind going.
Beautiful morning here in Winthrop. That's leaking a little bit right on him into those bushes. Not the greatest start, but not terrible.
Yeah, you know, I think he was just not wanting to be across that line, as I mentioned, and having to make a big long putt to save par on the first hole. But that's definitely not ideal. And
certainly, the ropes play a huge factor, and you'll notice as we go through this coverage that the ropes are gone this year, as AJ Risley lines up a backhand.
Yeah, there is no top rope this year, so you have a colored post, a colored topped post, and that indicates whether it's a hazard or OB.
And wow, AJ right there with a nice deflection back into the fairway, going to give him a look at a long birdie. And how about Paige Pierce, champ? One of the greatest competitors to ever grace the FPO division.
She is amazing. Her technical ability, her form is second to none. She throws the disc supremely.
She will also line up this backhand. It looks like a good correction from the other two.
Wow, that's really nice. Get in there. It's a little long. Oh, sit down.
Oh, just a little speedy, but no one has ever mistaken Paige Pierce for not having enough power. 389 feet, absolutely no problem.
I think if you're going to make a mistake, that's the type of mistake a player would rather make, is throwing a full shot, following through, getting all of it, perfect flight, and being just a little long. If you're going to do anything, that's good for the mental state, at least. You know you threw it correctly.
Chris Dickerson, 4th backhand out of 4 players.
That needs to get up. Oh, that's close.
Oh, he may have found the stake and just gotten a little fortunate.
That looked like it was out of bounds, but I think that was the 10-meter circle, and I think it did hit the stake and possibly stay in there.
Simon might be having to lay up.
Yeah, that's a really low ceiling over there. There's not much you can do, and the hazard line behind it's fairly close. You can't go running at it from 70 feet.
Well, you can if you're A.J. Risley, who wanted to run that one down early.
Caught a little medal, a little smile.
Some characters on this card here. Here's Paige Pierce lining up. Par save. Good extension, just a little left.
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous probably on the first hole. Big championship, and she wants to prove how good she is against the guys.
Oh, and there is Chris Dickerson with the patented step putt. That's crucial.
Take advantage of those good breaks when you can get them.
Paige saves bogey.
Yeah, a little left side, but found the bottom of the basket.
All right, and par, tie the hole. Walk away, go to the next thing, and we have a really fun hole coming up right after this commercial break.
The biggest tournament in the world, the biggest show in the world, and I think the fact that it's in the same place and it's run by Innova, same team every year, that almost elevates it, in my opinion, above the Worlds in terms of like the showmanship, and the feel of the event is so consistent and so special that to me it almost feels like a bigger deal, and obviously I have some incentive to say that because I've won. So you heard it here first. It's better than the Worlds.
Wow, thoughts on Sexton saying better than Worlds?
Yeah, this tournament's always held a special place in my heart over the Worlds as well, just because it was designed and built for the best disc golfers. It tests the best disc golfers. Tests you physically, mentally, all that. It brings everything to the table. Par 3s, par 4s, par 5. It was really the first championship we had that had all those things to it. And it's a consistent venue. It's always there. It's always at the same place, so you kind of know what you're getting into before you go.
A consistent venue, but a hole that has changed over the years. Back when you were winning your first titles here, we used to see some people going over the top. Not really possible anymore. This is a fully fledged par 4 at this point.
Yeah, with the addition of the Mando out there at about 400 feet, you have to wrap around. He definitely plays as a true par 4.
And Chris Dickerson, just slipping inside of that left edge, but
probably a little shorter where he wanted to be. It was a good flight line. Needed to be about 2 feet higher.
And all of these players have the ability to kind of push that gap. Simon, oh wow, the show-off gap right there with the roller needs to stay straight.
That is, it hooked up a little early and caught the tree. It's not going to leave him in total jail, but he won't be able to make birdie from there.
And what's your preferred play on this as we watch A.J. Risley? Do you like the outside play, or do you force it up the middle?
I like the inside play and just get it out there at the right distance. So this hole's more about getting it the right distance than anything else. I mean, obviously you got to throw it straight and kind of low on this hole, but if you're short, you don't have the gap. If you're long, you don't have the gap. So the right distance gives you the perfect gap to the green.
And Paige showing off the power sidearm that she has, using the overstability of that disc right there to skip out to some extra distance, and probably the best angle of the card off the tee.
Yeah, gets a little extra 10-foot roll out of it. She's out pretty wide, so that's why she's going first, even though she has the best angle.
And going to follow up that forehand with another one.
Caught a little lettuce there, but makes the Mando and checks in well short of the green, well wide of the green as well, so that's going to be a tough one.
She has been dangerous with that circle 2 putt. Let's see what Dickerson can do with the roller right now.
There is some downslope there that should help this out. Hold it back in there, and that's going to be just outside the circle, probably 45 feet.
Another circle 2 attempt will be on the way shortly from Chris Dickerson.
We got a lefty sidearm roller here?
Yeah,
wow.
how about that?
That's showing some moxie.
Specialty shot from A.J. Risley.
Looks to be ruling the same area, not quite as deep as Chris's, but once again, he's out at that 50-footish range, and this basket is a lot more downhill than it looks from your screen there. That 50-footer is dangerous, because if you fly by, you go right up under the cedar trees in the back, and you have no putt.
Yeah, that green just running away from the competitors, and we're going to have a putt off real soon. We'll see if Simon can find a way to join it.
This is more of a get yourself out of trouble. Oh, he was a little more in jail than I thought, but as long as he gets out to the flat bottom there, he should be able to get that up and down. That's a good spot to be from where he was.
All you can expect, and maybe even a little extra. He's very clearly okay. The Mando's not going to be in his way, and he can get up and hopefully down for 4.
It's definitely a little easier to get the skip from being down low there. It seems like when you throw the sidearm from way out, it doesn't seem to skip the same every time, but when you're down in the bottom, you can get a better skip out of it. Plus, it's a little closer, and that's going to be a good save.
AJ, little floater.
Wow, he caught a little rim on that one too, didn't he? First hole, second hole. Those bags long ones.
Yeah, he's definitely coming out with an aggressive mentality.
Ooh, this is the one I was talking about. Skips up under. Now you got a low ceiling comebacker.
No surprise, she's a little shorter than some of her competitors. May help her out a little bit there.
This is true. See, that was a little bit more indicative of what you need to do just to stay out of the woods in the background. Looks like she's found a little straddle putt window and makes use of it.
That's great, and those kind of putts are going to be crucial for her. Obviously, she is looking to be only the second woman in the history of this tournament to cash behind Juliana Korver's effort, I believe in 2005. Correct me if I'm wrong there?
I'm not sure on that one, but I know Juliana is the only woman to cash, and she cashed mightily that year. She beat some really good players.
Some world champions. We were just looking at it earlier this evening. AJ, ooh, right side, but sticks it.
Yep. Little auspicious start for the group.
Yeah, and starting on what used to be hole 3 just really takes those birdie opportunities out early. And here we're going to talk to Andrew Duvall.
So hole 3 is the first of the 2 new holes and is trying to bring the concept of the open and the woods together. Players off the tee will need to throw a big shot that is also a placement shot. It's important to test accuracy and distance at the same time. They'll have to funnel their way through a double mandatory to finish the hole with a fast green sloping away. This will be an early test on the course.
Early test and a dealer's choice off the tee. I think pretty much whatever you want to do is open to you.
Yeah, there's really no OB out there. You just have to make it through the double mando on your next shot. But if you're a little short and right, you have to lay up. If you're a little wide left, you have to lay up. If you're a little long, which I've seen some of the longer throwers doing in practice, you kind of have to lay up. You can only shoot through those 2 mandos if you're in the perfect spot off the tee, and it takes probably about a 500-foot shot or more to get to the perfect spot.
This guy's not laying up.
Never. It's not in his DNA.
Looks like one of the power rollers, maybe the longest roller thrower in the game right now. Look at this developing.
That's pretty. He's turning right where it needs to turn. He's sitting out there just perfect. Look at that angle to the basket through those trees. That is what you want to see when you're throwing the roller off that tee.
I think sometimes all Simon wants in life is a slight Annie floated putt, and he's happy. AJ looks like he couldn't decide whether it was going to be a roller or just a smooth turnover shot.
It looked like he was caught in between and ended up short and right, and that's going to be a layup for sure.
Here's Paige.
Oh, she got on that one.
Yeah, this one should flex nicely.
Flex out a little bit. Still a little tight to the right side, which is going to be more or less a layup. This hole isn't too penalizing. If you do miss the double mando on this shot right here, you get to go to a drop zone, which is about 45 feet, 50 feet from the basket. So you do still have a chance to save your par if you miss the double mando.
Well, AJ shouldn't miss the double mando after that one. He put it right in between the gate. Paige follows suit as well. And Chris, this should be a layup as well.
Yeah. Being the diabolical designers they are, the Duvall family, they did make the bunker, the hazard bunker, directly in line behind the basket from that drop zone that I told you about. So if you were to run it and miss, you could get in some trouble.
And it's very interesting to note the golf green for the Winthrop Golf Course does not play as OB on this hole.
It does not. But the bunker behind there, which you can see just a part of, just to the right of the basket there, does play as a hazard. You have to putt from where the disc lies and you add a stroke.
And I think AJ Risley had that in mind as he leaves that one a little short.
She's left herself a bit short and has to pinch off a nice little Annie here, and it skips across the green, and that's going to leave a lengthy putt for the par.
not totally safe with the left fade from that right-handed putt.
Chris smoothing one up there, just as you'd expect. Short of the basket, short of the sand trap.
Yeah, nice and easy for him. And here's another tester for Paige early in the round.
And the sand trap is in play on this one. If you're in the little left. Oh. In the hazard. It's a pretty easy tap in there, but you have to add an extra stroke.
Yeah, just does not feel good. Quality putt there by A.J. Risley.
Solid start.
Simon, beautifully done.
That's a world-class birdie. I'd like to know the birdie percentage on that after the tournament's over. It's probably not going to be that high.
Oh, definitely one of the holes that I think a lot of the competitors will have to get used to, especially if we see some different wind patterns on that wide-open golf fairway.
Well, this is the A pin they're playing to, which is a little tucked into the right and a little tougher. The B pin's a little more straight through, and I think more people are going to be threeing that straight pin more so than this pin.
Let's see what Andrew Duvall has to say about hole 4.
Hole 4 is the gauntlet hole we all know and love. Players will step up to the tee with their eyes wide. A big breath and throwing it straight down the middle is the play here. What's really cool about this hole is we've created a gauntlet that 3,000 spectators on Saturday will be able to watch.
Reminiscent of maybe one of the more famous holes, Blue Ribbon Pines hole 4, or some classic North Carolina woods golf. Requires a straight flight, as we see Simon going with a nice slow putter, getting about halfway down the fairway, maybe a little further.
I think that was definitely in the game plan there. He was not trying to get to the pin and have an easy birdie putt there. He just wanted to make sure he wasn't going to miss those Mandos and make more than 3.
It seems straight as far as the camera goes, but throwing that disc straight and not having it kick too far left or right, one of the more difficult shots, especially in a pressure scenario.
These players are making this hole look a little easier than it really is. I saw quite a few people missing the first Mando in practice and struggling quite a bit.
And Paige looks like she makes the first Mando, but it's going to be a little tough. She's got a window to navigate here.
Yeah, it's tough from that left side. She did almost the smartest thing, was just to lay herself up and to give herself a putt rather than possibly missing the Mando with being too aggressive.
And then Chris Dickerson also just going to hook that jump putt inside that double Mando. I think we're going to take the call on this hole, the double-double.
The double-double.
In and out style. A.J. Risley would like to get a little of that.
This green is pretty, or just prior to the green, is very slippery with the pine needles. So if you do happen to get one going straight through and flat, you can take a good skip and get up there about 30 feet away without having to put the full power on this shot.
Yeah, a player you're undoubtedly familiar with, Calvin Heimberg, was one of only 5 people in the first round to birdie this hole, and he put it right through both sets. Paige Pierce. Wow.
Drilled it.
And she has been tested on the putting green multiple times already and passed that one with flying colors.
And it's only hole 4.
Yeah, right.
This course will test you in every facet of the game.
You definitely have to play to your strengths. Once again, Circle 2 putting is Chris Dickerson's, one of the best in the game right now.
He has that little hop putt, and it goes in way more often than it doesn't from just outside the circle.
And A.J. Risley to get the par for the whole card. All right, no damage done.
No damage. That's kind of the way most cards were wanting to play that hole. It's just no damage.
So can I guess that you went with one of the classic KC rocks on that last hole there?
I did not. I threw a beat-up T-bird just to make sure I could hit my line and not float off to the left or right, and I've kept it really low and managed to make 3 there myself today.
And how about hole 5, moving back? It's the new old tee, the one you're very familiar with here on this par 5.
Yeah, this tee has been played many more years than any other tees, and this is the original tee here, and it has a blind. You have a blind view to the fairway. All you see is about 200 feet of fairway, and then it's a ridge and just drops off blind, so you really can't see where you're landing it. I think that makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah, you definitely have to trust the weight you're putting on that disc. You have to know exactly how far it's going to go. Interested to see sidearm versus backhand here.
I think many of the players that have good sidearms are going to use the sidearm here just because it's fading away from the lake. There is a road running down the right-hand side, but it's not nearly as prevalent to go into as the lake is for right-handed players.
And that looked like a confident sidearm there from Lizotte, but maybe not something that's going to put him in position to attack for eagle.
Yeah, I think you really have to mash the drive out there about 500 feet to even think about going for this one an eagle.
And
For an
Chris
eagle.
Dickerson getting the slide to the right there, staying high on that hillside, probably still not even in position.
No, I think most of these players will be happy to reach the green in 3 and have a birdie look.
And AJ getting caught up in those trees, like you said, finding the green flag.
That's in between the trees and the road, which actually leaves him a wide open space to throw a hyzer on his next shot.
And Paige Pierce, third time in the open division out here at Winthrop, now called the Arena, what was formerly known as Winthrop Gold.
As you can tell, these players are throwing those shots 3/4 speed or strength. They're not giving it their all. Inbounds is more important than anything on that tee shot.
AJ, hyzer over the road.
Get it high enough to get over those myrtles that have grown quite up, and the closer you get to the water on this next shot, the easier it makes your next shot. So you kind of got to risk this shot to make your next shot easier, and if you don't take the risk here, then your next shot's going to be much tougher, and you're going to have to choose whether to risk that one or not.
And Paige looked like she was going for it, but yeah, either a little grip lock or a little slip on the ground, something, but she stays in bounds there, so she's still fighting.
Or possibly that water in her mind. This course gets you thinking.
Yeah, when you have as much power as this guy does, you can just go way over those myrtles.
Just a huge hyzer, but he got the backup, the spike, almost tombstone backspin.
Like a Mickelson wedge right there, just a little too much spin.
Right. That looks like a great shot. Hit the ground, move a little to the left.
Keeping it low, keeping it flat.
Not much can go wrong when you keep them low and flat.
Oh, she's going for this, isn't she?
It looks like it. That's a full power shot.
Keep flexing.
And I think turning it over is a wise decision here because there's a lot of room over there to the right, and it's not as hard to reach the inbounds, even though she powered it 70, 80 feet past the lake edge.
Wow. That's all you can say to that right there. AJ Risley to follow. Little high.
Yeah, but once again, he's turned it over, and he's going off to the right, which... Oh, he's hyzered back nicely, but
What do I know?
You'll see most players playing that right side because there's quite a bit of space there to let your disc hyzer back and get towards the pin. Anything left of the pin is dangerous.
He is fired up after that one. He has guaranteed himself a birdie on the first par 5 he's seen this tournament.
Just tap it in, AJ.
And Simon, mid-range.
Boy, that's a nice looking shot. Just barely creeps over the water, but that gets him inside the circle, I believe, for looking at a 25-footer or so for birdie.
And then Chris, who's earned the right to have a routine shot over the water here, just needs to lay it down.
That's right where you want to be, 15 feet in front of the water, and he proves that's why you want to be there, because it's a fairly easy shot for the top players.
Fantastic play. Let's see if Paige can nail a hero putt.
Turn that one over a little bit, but a 5 is not all that bad a score on that hole.
No, not at all. Sneaking one there, Simon.
Hey, they don't draw pictures on the cards, just numbers. Solid hole, solid hole. Every shot was right where it needed to be.
Yeah, this is just, it's one of the most picturesque holes out here at Winthrop, and one of the most demanding.
It's my personal favorite hole because there's not one bit of yellow rope on that hole, or artificial OB. There is a Mando, but that's just to make you have to throw it across the lake on the last shot and kind of keep you honest, basically. But all the OB is, it's a road or it's a lake.
Well, it's not the quite corner of the lake here as it goes to what is commonly known as the beach.
The Florida hole, my state.
There you go, 371 feet. Right-hand, backhand hyzer. You got to slow it into the green. The lefties, I can't tell you what to do here because you guys are out of luck alongside me. But, Champ, what's the best line here?
Well, you know, I just think something that's barely bleeds back to the left for the right-handed back player, and you're going to throw it out here by these hazard stakes or the OB stakes. You throw it on that line and let it bleed slowly, and if you skip to the edge of the sand, you know, take a 25-footer. That's kind of what most players are looking for. Putting it on the sand, you're taking a little bit more of a risk.
Every year, these trees grow a little taller, but Simon says no problem.
Big high hyzer. With that kind of power, you know he's going to get... Ooh, very close.
Isn't that green?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And he sticks it.
Spiked into that soft sand.
He's certainly shown proficiency with that spike shot so far today. Chris opting for the low line.
It's a little inside, but it has plenty of speed to get there and almost hit the pole.
You just have to trust. You have to put full speed on it to get there and just trust that that sand is going to grab it. AJ, smooth.
Snaps it out wide on the wide line and hoping he gets a little bit of a skip so give himself a 35, 40 footer maybe. And that's kind of the safer way to play it. You can still birdie run and not really take much risk.
Well, like you were saying on the last hole, pick the spot to take the risk. And AJ's going to put it on the putt. Paige.
She's got this going to the right. It's looking like if it gets far enough, I can't tell if that's across the line or not.
Looks like she's going to be OB. She'll proceed to the drop zone. AJ, that's okay.
Which they have the drop zone lined up directly with the water in the background, so it makes the putt a little tougher to go after.
And, I mean, we've just seen, I feel like I've said it every hole so far, Paige just putting the putter to the test. Simon finding the easy birdie. I mean, he was mere inches from skipping off the brick and going into the water versus sticking in the sand there.
I was told by someone who played with Eagle McMahon that he threw a sidearm on this hole today out over the water and almost aced it.
Wow. Just finding new ways to play this course. I mean, the development of the sidearm game in general has just changed how the field plays this course, I think.
Yeah, plays every course pretty much. I mean, you pretty much got to have both spins out there these days to compete at the top level.
And here's another hole that has changed quite a bit over the years, the bamboo hole. This iteration is a triple mandatory through this gate. And another one where in the past we've seen a lot of players with slower discs on the backhand line, and you see some of these players opt to kind of hook it inside with the sidearm. Simon going traditional here.
I see quite a few people opting to throw it just short of the mouth and try to make the 35-footer just to not get themselves in any kind of trouble and still have a birdie look. But I think the course designer wants you to take the test and try and get through there and punch it through there on the tee shot.
Dickerson gets the shooter's roll into the middle of the mouth. He'll have a clean look, definitely in his range.
And they've moved the drop zones on this hole this year. If you do happen to miss the Mando, the drop zones are a little less penal this year. It's a little easier to get up and down.
And AJ throwing a nice slight hyzer flip right there. He's going to look at birdie. Here's Paige.
Don't think any of these players are going to have to even use the drop zone. All four of those are good to go.
Well executed so far. All right.
But as I mentioned, there isn't too many of them at the pin or past the pin. Everybody seems to come up a little short on this hole just because it's restrictive.
Simon heating up. Oh.
And how do you miss that to the right? You have to go around something left side of it, and then the basket's over to the right. You still miss right.
Yeah, he was committed to that. He was about to catch fire. Chris Dickerson, 3 for 3 from circle 2 already today, champ.
Once again, the little step putt from just outside the circle. Dead center. Not just hanging onto an edge. Dead center.
So accurate with that putt, and Paige showing off the putting skills as well. She's 3 over par, but it feels like she's playing better than that, just watching the shot she's putting down.
Some nice putting by the group on that hole.
And hole 7 now. At this point, this is where you kind of start to count your birdies and say, the teeth are coming.
Yeah, the course definitely gets a little tougher from this point forward.
And hole 8, this par 4, stretching out almost to 700 feet. There's been a few different versions of the out-of-bounds line on the right side. It's known as the baseball field hole. You'll see as the drone flies through one of many gaps that the competitors have the option to take.
Yeah, you can choose the left to right, the right to left, or the straight up the middle on that one. And there's just a little OB on the left-hand side of the fairway, a half moon, if you will, that butts up against the old OB fence, and they've probably brought it out 25, 30 feet, and definitely keeps you honest on your tee shot. You can't go skipping left at all.
And some trees have fallen down, and the pillars of justice, as Harold and Andrew Duvall like to call them, have made their emergence on hole 8 this year.
That's a little brutal place to have them, because that's a bit of a hilly green, and those, if you hit those poles, they could possibly make your disc get up and roll, as well as not make the putt.
Chris Dickerson just showing the power with that flat release low line.
And here's another option, going wide right with the right to left skip.
Great line right there by AJ. Paige looks like she's lining up the same thing.
Yeah, I think that's the less risk line. There's the one tree right there. If you beat that tree, you generally have a good shot because you're not going to skip all the way left to the OB over there. If you go up the middle, you have a little more chance to go into that left side OB.
And it should be noted that OB, very sticky. You're not going to find your way out if your disc goes in.
No, that's some unkempt weeds over there. And Simon's a little short of it. He looked like he was going towards it, but he's much short of it.
Pretty prime landing zone for Lizotte. He's in best position to attack. We might see a roller here from Dickerson.
This hole sets up great for a roller second chop or a sidearm counterclockwise spin, lefty backhand, something like that. It goes hard left to right at the end, and it goes up a hill. So you really need something with some good movement to the right at the end to get the birdie on this hole.
And look at this. This is the second lefty forehand roller we've seen from AJ in 8 holes.
He just got a little kick off the fence, which gave him another 20 foot forward, which is going to make his upshot a little easier to save the par.
And Simon
also opting for the roller, but that's inside. And wow, that's finding its way along. Wow. Just the extra speed he had on that. I've never seen a shot go inside like that, up the hill, and go past the basket.
Wow, just you can tell it's starting to heat up out there. These fairways and greens are getting a little bit faster.
Oh, right into the fence and sets down. That fence is leaning over a little bit this year, and it has a bit of a cup to it. So I could see a roller or two going up over that fence if it has the wrong angle coming in.
Yeah, traditionally you can use that fence to kind of mitigate the damage, and Chris is going to find himself staring down a routine par.
We've lost 2 very large trees on this hole, so maybe that's why they opted to put the soldiers up on this hole, because there's, as you can see, there's 2 humongous trees that are been cut down since last year, I believe.
And the tree out front sure did make a very tough putt if you didn't get all the way back there. Paige, still working on the circle 2 number. She's getting her reps in.
I still can't believe how far past the basket this went.
Simon, taking advice from the cameraman. Gotta love it.
And this looks like a slope, and it is. There's a pretty big slope there. If you airball this, it's going to go a good ways.
Oh. He was probably hoping to hit one of the soldiers there.
Yeah,
but
that's one of the times the soldiers could actually help you. But they chose not to that time. See, he got a good 35, 40 feet past that basket going for that putt.
Yeah, the old tree stump helped him out there, but he wasn't able to convert on it, and that kind of stymies a roll that he was putting together on the front 9.
Yeah, looks like he's just taking a little breather, trying to regroup. He knows that some big holes are coming, and he's got the power to play them.
Ooh, stay in there.
Thing wanted to jump back at her, and she knew it. She looked at it like, stay in there. Chris, as usual,
always dead center.
Dead center.
It's the robot chicken, they call him. He's just repetitive with that. And AJ for par. Simon going to take a bogey, and we will be right back.
Hole 9, so this is where Winthrop really begins to show its teeth. This was my first hole design out here at Winthrop on the Gold Course. This is a triple island hole. Players will have the opportunity to test how courageous they want to be. Laying up on the first island is essentially going to be a par. Testing the second island will be the only opportunity to get a birdie, but not a guarantee of it. Players will have to throw one more great shot underneath the Winthrop basket in order to take a good score on the hole.
Maybe one of the most drastically different holes that we've seen. Andrew Duvall really put his design skills to the test when he meddled with this one.
Yeah, this was first introduced last year, I believe, and it does play tough. It's definitely not an easy birdie, and you have to choose what you want to do on this hole. And these first 2 players have chosen to throw it to the first kidney bean, we call them. They all kind of resemble a kidney bean out there, and there's 3 of them on this hole, and you can choose to go to the first or second off the tee. I don't think anybody's getting to the third one off the tee, but that's 3 in a row that have chosen the first little inbounds area, so that means they're opting to play the hole for par. There's pretty much no chance to get birdie from that first one.
This guy has a different idea about this hole here. Is he laying down the sky roller?
It looks as if he is, and wow. Stop. It's going to go towards the end of the second little area, and looks like it's going to stay in. That's going to leave him a short approach for an easy birdie. He took the risk. He got the reward.
Hey, he committed to that one completely.
She's playing just up to the second inbounds area, which is going to make her, kick off the post. Fortunate. Couldn't tell if that was going to stay in or go out, but that was definitely a little fortunate.
Yeah, might be flashing the rings there, but hey, she's got 5 of them, so not too shabby. Here's another nice easy hyzer into that second landing zone.
Still short of Simon's drive.
Most people say that all the time when they play with him. AJ, yeah, this looks like a par play.
Yeah, I can't fault that on this hole. This hole you can rack up a big number because you have to keep throwing from the drop area if you don't make it inbounds on the next throw. So playing safe on this hole has its merits.
And you can tell the different mentalities of the players. Obviously, with hole 10 coming up soon, that's a very attackable par 4, so you don't want to get out of your rhythm too hard, but you could be like Simon and just get ready to go for everything.
And the back 9 is much tougher as a whole 9 holes as the front 9 is, so you definitely don't want to give away strokes right before you go to the tougher 9.
AJ, he likes it. He knows out of his hand.
And there's a little backdrop behind this basket, and the OB is fairly close, so you can't get too aggressive with this one.
Simon showing a little spin control himself. He'll be pin high. Where else? Dead center.
Imagine that.
Simon stays perfect from C1X.
That's a well-earned birdie there.
And that's a good start. The day's starting to heat up as this card teed off at 10 o'clock, halfway through the round, up into the 90s out here in Rock Hill on Wednesday, and just a whole lot of golf and a whole lot of torture left to play. 3 down through 9, not too bad. Dickerson 4 down.
Making a move.
And we want to thank you guys for joining us. This is the Front 9, the feature card, the 2019 USDGC. Can't wait to come back to the back 9 and see how these players attack this hot, brutal, sweltering summer round out here in Rock Hill. Champ, you ready for some more golf?
Oh, yeah.
We'll see ya.